I got a question. What is hip-hop? I mean, can we even answer that? And if we can, who's got the say-so? Is it me? Is it you? Is it the old heads? Is it the young kids? I mean, I was sitting in a barber shop the other day and I heard somebody complaining about how artists like Drake and Cardi B and Post Malone are everything but hip-hop in his opinion. Now, mind you, this wasn't some old head that you'd expect to be a little bit out of touch with the current hip-hop landscape. Nah, this was a young dude, probably in his 20s, but he was very certain that he knew what was and what wasn't hip-hop. And it got me wondering, who's allowed to make that call? In the beginning, we had the break beats and the break dancers and the artists and the MCs, and as a community, we collectively decided that that was hip-hop. When the Sugar Hill Gang dropped Rapper's Delight, the hip-hop community wasn't exactly happy about it. Matter of fact, most street MCs at the time would say that it was not hip-hop. And their reason, in short, was that it didn't come from the hip-hop community. In their eyes, it was just a bunch of dudes quote-unquote rapping in front of a band, not in front of a DJ. And they were dancing disco, not breakdancing. There was no graffiti involved. There was nothing about the hip-hop community that was intertwined with that record or that video. So the hip-hop community said, that's not hip-hop. So does that mean that hip-hop has to be break beats and dope lyrics and breakdancing and graffiti? Not exactly. And now when you look back at that record from the Sugar Hill Gang, it was so monumental for the hip-hop community that it can't be anything but hip-hop. So where does that leave us? Hip-hop at the time said that it was everything but hip-hop, and now hip-hop looks back and says that's everything hip-hop is supposed to be. Well, I think I have an explanation for this. Hip-hop is not just music. It's a culture. And matter of fact, what we know to be the hip-hop culture came way before what we know to be hip-hop music, and music was just a way for the hip-hop culture to express ourselves. Hip-hop isn't the clothing that we wear, and it's not actually the clothes that we wear, it's the way that we wear them. You see, hip-hop is an emotion, it's a state of being, it's a frame of mind, it's a feeling that sticks with hip-hop fans way after the music stops playing. And now millions, if not billions of people across the world have picked up and become a part of the hip-hop culture. Some of them don't walk, don't talk, or dress like us. Some of them don't even listen to hip-hop, but they are very much a part of the evolution of our culture. Let's take EDM, for example, one of the biggest music genres in the world. When you listen to EDM, you don't exactly get hip-hop vibes. But what would EDM be without the DJ? And what would the DJ be without hip-hop? Facts, the DJ wouldn't even exist. Now, if the things that DJ Kool Herc was doing in a basement party could evolve into what Steve Aoki is doing in front of hundreds and thousands and millions of people on the regular, what makes you think that hip-hop as a culture itself wouldn't evolve? Which takes me back to that dude in the barbershop that tried to tell us what was and what wasn't hip-hop. The funny thing is, to say what isn't hip-hop goes against everything that hip-hop is. Hip-hop is an expression of the culture, and whatever way the culture decides to express itself has to be considered hip-hop. If Anderson .Paak comes out with a funk and soul album, it's hip-hop. If Childish Gambino comes out with a classic rock album, it's hip-hop. If an artist like Lil Pump comes out with a record saying Gucci Gang 54 times in one record, as much as you may not like it, it absolutely, positively is hip-hop. Now, I wasn't alive when the Sugar Hill Gang came out, so I wasn't there to actually hear people talk about them. But I did hear people talk about artists like Lil Wayne when I was like 15. I remember hearing some older heads say, man, if Pac was still alive, Lil Wayne would be flipping burger patties somewhere. And maybe they're right. If Pac was still alive, maybe hip-hop would have evolved differently. But nonetheless, hip-hop evolved, and it's always evolved. From the 80s to the 90s to the 2000s and to now, hip-hop evolves and it gets bigger and it gets more broad and it gets more diverse. So if you're one of those people that's sitting out there thinking you're allowed to say what is and what isn't hip-hop, maybe you're the one that's become a little bit out of touch with the hip-hop culture yourself. Take a look around, soak it all in, and understand that hip-hop is just doing what it's always done, and it's telling the truth about the culture. What up, squad? I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you can hit the subscribe button. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram by clicking the links below. Until next time, thanks for watching All Def Music.